Hey, what's up YouTube? So I did a video recently where I looked at this subreddit called Best of Redditor Updates. And it's awesome because they take these insane things that happen in these niche communities, maybe we saw adultery last time, and they put it in a place that is palatable for us, where we can read through it and we can make determinations on whether we think they are cringe or they are fine. Well, we got another one. We got one submitted from the community, we got one from the comments below, and we are gonna go through it. It's gonna be a little bit insane. I promise you this one is wilder than the last one, so let's just get started. OP thinks she ruined her mother's life and reputation. The original post was in True Off My Chest. If you've never been to True Off My Chest, it's a place where you can supposedly just like say things that are going on. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I forgot to feed my friend's cat and it died and I said it escaped. You know what I mean? My 40 female, so the OP is a 40-year-old female, parents, dad, 63 male, and mom, 60 female, had been married for 43 years. I have 6 siblings, 42 female, 38 female, 34 female, 20 male, 20 male, 18 male. I have been with my husband, 39 male, since we were 15. I got pregnant at 17 and we moved in with my parents. I gave birth to my now 22-year-old daughter. We got married at 18 shortly after. My dad's father passed shortly after our wedding and left his ranch-style house to my father. My grandparents built a house next door to my parents. This is, chat, I know that most of you don't know this, but I am a political science major. And at the end of my 4 years learning political science, I took the LSAT. And this opening paragraph is a fucking recreation of an LSAT question. It introduces you to 100 different characters. It tells you seemingly inane facts about them. And it's about to ask you 100 questions about when they were born and where they live. My grandparents built a house next door to my parents when they retired. My parents decided to let us live in this house and told us this would be my inheritance. My husband and I had no issues with this. We went on to have a 20-year-old male, another child, a 14-year-old, another child, a 5-year-old, another child, and I'm currently 7 months pregnant with my last child, a boy due in April. Dude, this whole family is actually popping them out. I thought I had a, oh no, this is where it falls apart. I thought I had a good marriage. We were intimate more than twice a week. We went on date nights. We bought each other gifts. We didn't fight. My entire world was shattered on New Year's Eve when I returned early from a girls' trip I had taken with some friends. I walked into my bedroom to find my mom having sex with my husband. My mother screamed at me to get out of their bedroom, which really shook me up even more. This is actually such a fucking nightmare. Unfortunately, my oldest daughter was also home in her bedroom across the house getting ready for a party. She ran out and witnessed my all but a bedsheet naked mother run out of our house next door to her house and slam the door. My daughter was devastated and went to my sister's house. I asked her not to say anything until I first talked to my husband. I asked him for the truth. He told me that oh no. He told me that my mom seduced him when we were 18 and living in their house. They'd been having unprotected sex at least once a month for longer than we were married. Oh no, she's 40. They got married at 17? No, pregnant at 17. Oh no. I ran the math, that's what I was trying to do, and was horrified because the timeline meant my twin brothers and youngest brother could be my husbands. Oh no. I immediately called my dad and told him to come to my house without my mom. I made my husband confess and my dad was devastated. He and my mom were high school sweethearts too. Needless to say, we could hear my mother screaming from her house when he confronted her. I then told my older sister and she and I decided to have her throw a party. What? I'm sorry. 1 second. I then told my older sister, and she and I decided to have her throw a party for the whole extended family, and we invited my ex's family as well? What in God's name is the plan here? At the party, don't say party poggies. No, don't say Pepe D. We're not dancing here. At the part, well, maybe there was some dancing at the party, you know, play some music. It'll be a fun time. At the party, I had my 22-year-old daughter take all the kids to our basement and put on a movie, leaving only the adult children and siblings. And I told them exactly what they'd been doing. This is absurd. This is not what someone would do in this situation, right? Your initial plan is just to call everyone you know and name and shame them? Most of the family is on my side. Who's on the other side? Well, someone's on the mom's side? Except my 3 youngest siblings. Okay, which are the 3 boys, which maybe are children of her husband? By ex, doesn't she mean her cheating husband? Oh, she's already calling him her ex. Oh man, I'm imagining she had a high school paramour that she called. Yeah, maybe she was asking this ex if they also were seduced by her mother, if they also had a sexual relationship. That makes so much more sense, and I feel bad for being so stupid. COVID brain, man. Dude, they all say I'm an asshole for dropping this publicly. I do think doing it at a party is absurd. It seems crazy, and I don't know what the plan was. Why don't you just call them all individually? My mom has since been let go as the children's pastor there, and she claims I've essentially ruined her reputation and life. My dad kicked her out and she's now living with my sister. And lastly, my dad insisted on a DNA test for the 3 youngest boys before he considered before he considered anything to do with their marriage. The twins are my husband's biological children. The DNA test came back? I've since kicked him out and he's living with my parents. So this woman found out that her husband was having sex with her mother and that her younger brothers are actually the spawn of her husband. So theoretically her stepchildren? I don't actually know. This family tree is a bit of a ladder with some recursive branches here. My father and I are discussing me moving into his much larger house and him selling my grandfather's house and him giving me the money to buy a new house somewhere else to get rid of the memories. My husband is appalled and furious that I proved he actually is about to have 7 kids instead of 5. That I'm going to be taking half his business away from him. My husband started his own HVAC company. Oh, they're going to get doxxed. Okay, he's this age. He lives in this area. He owns an HVAC company. He recently got divorced. In my state, all marital assets, including businesses, are split 50-50. Since the house was still in my father's name, my husband will get no money from the sale. I'm now over a month removed, still extremely bitter and angry at my mother, especially at her hypocrisy of calling me a whore and shaming my family. What? The mother, who was sleeping with the husband for 20 years, I guess for 20 years, she saw that as like a solid relationship, you know what I mean? The wife was somehow a homewrecker. Why did you walk in on us having sex, you son of a bitch? I also despise my ex with everything within me now, as he was fucking both my mom and me, in some instances coming to our bed minutes later. He got my mother pregnant less than a week after getting me pregnant. And while I thought it was so cute and fun that I shared a pregnancy experience with my mom, she was carrying my children's half-siblings. Oh, God, no. That's good. Please, chat, I got to call this out for the YouTube video that Moldrin 2020 said, I mean, kind of hot, though. And it was instantly sniped. My 14-year-old knows that we're getting divorced and why, and she's so angry at her dad that I struggle sending her to this house on. She's so angry at her dad that I struggle sending her to his house on the weekends. I feel like she's old enough to make a decision on that, but I don't want to damage her relationship with her dad. As for how I had no idea this affair was ongoing, my husband confirmed to me that they would have sex at my mom's office at church, in their cars, at a motel, and when we built the business, they started having it routinely in his office, once I went back to teaching. They also had it in our houses too, when my father would go away on business trips or I'd be out of town. It was pure happenstance that I came home that day early from the trip, because I was uncomfortable from being nearly 7 months pregnant and just wanted my own bed. For me to find out. Knowing they'd be carrying on this full-blown affair still if I hadn't caught them is what I'm still upset about. The fact that the grandmother and father of my children cared so little about destroying our families is what I can't get past. Edit. Also, to add insult to injury, my husband confirmed in one of our mediated conversations the affair started when I apparently made him angry. He didn't tell me and instead vented to my mom when they were alone. She comforted him chat, and they had sex. He loved it. This is pretty good. He loved it and then pursued her after that. He said he would have divorced me, but knew he'd get cut off from her, and she was so much better at sex than me. So stuck it out with me. He told me I was a placeholder. Of all the betrayal and low blows, that statement is what keeps me up at night. Oh, God, brutal. TLDR, my mom fucked my husband for 22 years, got pregnant with twins, continued the affair until I caught them in bed together on New Year's Eve, while I was nearly 7 months pregnant. I publicly exposed that my mom lost her job, her marriage, and is homeless. Oh my God. Update. I tried hard to go the route of a mediated divorce, but my ex told me yesterday through his lawyers that he doesn't believe that the baby I'm carrying is his, and he wants a DNA test as soon as he's born because he doesn't want to support a child that isn't... Excuse me? He also believes that I routinely cheated on him throughout our marriage, and that I knew about his ongoing affair and used that as an excuse to have my own affairs. None of that is true, but I kind of wish it was because it would make this divorce easier. My lawyer basically told me to get ready for a long, drawn-out, brutal, contested divorce, and that my ex is likely going to try every underhanded tactic in the book to make my life even more miserable. Frequently asked questions update. This had gone viral on Twitter, and thanks to people who let me know in DM, so I'll answer some more. My twin brothers look like my egg donor side of the family. Egg donor? Oh, she's saying look like my mother's side of the family. She's just using egg donor like derogatorily. It's a way of saying mom without saying mom since she doesn't consider her a mom. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Thank you. They clearly don't look like my dad at all, but they also don't resemble my husband much either. My son looks my STBX, my Starbucks. My son looks my Starbucks, and he's the only child that you can visibly tell is his kid. Although my daughter has his nose and jaw shape. I was definitely enraged. A soon-to-be ex. Thank you. Sorry, I'm just not a drama frog. I see Starbucks. I was definitely enraged the day everything went down, but my dad talked me off the murder ledge and reminded me that I needed to think of my baby and my other kids before I do something I would remove both of their parents from their lives. That is what spared them. That is what spared them. Holy shit. I still lived in a rage fog for the next few days, which is what led to the revenge party. I only regret not telling my brothers privately that my egg donor had been cheating. I don't believe that my egg donor and soon-to-be ex waited until he was 18 to have sex, but at this point, I'm letting my dad fight that fight and letting him do what he needs to when dealing with her and their divorce. I'm focusing on my pregnancy, my kids, and moving on. I may provide an update after divorces are finalized, but thanks to everyone for the support and advice. Thanks for letting this hormonal, sad, ragey, bitter woman vent and get this off her chest. Holy moly, we've got some juice here. What are the people saying about it? From Darpalicious, yikes. You have to wonder if the sister knew the whole time and that's why she had a rough relationship with original OP since high school? What? One of my favorite parts about doing this is watching the absolutely Olympic leap to conclusions in the comments. The first comment is always like, oh yeah, your neighbor definitely knew. That's why they said the one innocuous thing at the barbecue, you know? Like, I think your dad was wearing the white shirt to represent the purity of it. It's like people who listen to murder podcasts, like, what do they call that? True crime, and then like harass other people. You know, they like call the Sandy Hook family and they're like, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. The Redditors are crazy. The ones who caught the Boston bomber, for example. With that many children in the mix, someone else had to have seen something at some point just from the sheer number of people running around at any given point. That's maybe. I mean, I guess it's a possibility, but I don't think there's really anything besides her and the sister not getting along that would lead you to assume that. That was my first thought as well. The mother's behavior is beyond terrible. I get the kids being upset, there's family being torn apart, and no doubt facing some embarrassment and problems as a result of the public nature of this coming out. That's emotionally logical and understandable. But the sister makes no sense. How can she rationalize this in such short order unless she spent years doing so? Or she's so caught up in saving public face that she hopes this gets put back in the bottle. I mean, yeah, I think the second one is definitely more likely. I like when someone says some unhinged shit and then drops a makes you wonder. Whether these stories are real or not, people read them like fiction, where the people are entirely just the clues we know about them and act like they don't have entire lives you've never heard of. Yeah, I assume that this is a fake story and they were using it as like a writing prompt, but it's kind of fun to assume it's real, that this could happen to someone. This person's clapping back at them. Shout out to Buffy Experiment. Sometimes sisters are just enemies for non-affair or familial reasons. Yeah, sisters can be enemies for affair reasons and for non-affair reasons. That's the only two reasons sisters can be enemies. And now for my Reddit comment catchphrase for most family dramas. Sisters are overrated. This is crazy. What? Your sister doesn't hate you for no good reason and always has. I'm sure there's a reason your sister hates you. People don't just hate for no reason. Now, it might be a wrong reason. It might be a misconstrued reason. It might be a reason that is a lie. But it's not like the sister just woke up one day and just fucking hate. Just like, you know what, Susan? You're a bitch. And the kind of person that would say that their catchphrase is sisters are overrated, maybe I can understand why her sister isn't the friendliest person in the world. I'm not unconvinced the sister isn't somehow involved. I assumed she was also sleeping with the soon-to-be ex. I have to be wrong. I'm wrong, right? What? Why? This ex is not... I think maybe the dad is sleeping with the soon-to-be ex now that I think about it. I think she definitely knew. I'll go farther and say that while ex is a piece of shit, mom is a highly manipulative person, and she triangulated sis from an early age for the very purpose of having an ally when, if she gets called on fucked up shit. She had the child just to have someone in her corner when she gets busted during a 20-year affair with her daughter's husband. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Holy moly. I assume that maybe the sister is not in fact the father's kid too. Cheaters don't cheat just well. Oh, we've got ladies and gentlemen, we got a juicer here. You know, when someone writes this month, there's going to be some crazy shit in there. No one sits down, cracks their knuckles, and writes 6 paragraphs without something insane in there. Exactly. I'd have thought that the dad would want DNA tests on the older kids, including original OP. Perhaps her soon-to-be ex isn't on the hook for those births, but dad might want to know if those kiddos were actually his biologically too. They're too old to figure in child support or anything, but it would show more patterns of infidelity for original OP's egg donor, perhaps important in their type of divorce. And if anything definitive were to show up on a big database like 23andMe, it might also, pure conjecture, show predatory patterns. My guess is soon-to-be ex wasn't the only young person she victimized in her role as a youth pastor. Gag. Oh, this is actually true and scary now that I think about it. Even if nobody else knocked her up. Crass. Hopefully, if there were additional victims, they'll speak up. Things can still be rough for male sex abuse victims. You know what? This is all true. I thought this person was going to be a psycho, and so far they've actually called out some realistic things. This person was in a position of power around children when it looks like they were in a position to abuse a child earlier in their life. I hope with therapy and time, original OP can get her soon-to-be ex's cruel, blame-shifting words out of her head. There is no such thing as being so bad at sex that your partner must cheat on you for 20 plus years. That is complete nonsense. Non-disordered people have rough sex lives all the time, but they ask their partner to work with them, or ask to go out to the doctor and to therapy, or simply ask to end the relationship, which is sad but still holds honor. People definitely can be sexually incompatible, but this isn't that. This is just 2 cruel narcissists spilling their entitlement all over. Damn, wait, this person's actually goated. They wrote paragraphs and they weren't psychopathic. This is actually most sane Redditor, and that's upsetting. I hope original OP also gives herself a little break for the rage party. Telling people who are going to find out anyway, because original OP, the daughter who witnessed it, and her dad are not under some obligation to keep secrets for their cheaters, all at once seems efficient. Okay, maybe I am diverging now. And it wasn't in public. Strangers were not invited to this party. I mean, I didn't get an invite at least, LOL. Sassy. It was definitely still private. This bit of outrage on the part of the offenders is just more mad that they got caught. I'm feeling the affront on original OP's behalf for the reverse accusations. The bottom line is that there won't be any proof, and a judge ought to see that that is ridiculous. That is, all of original OP's children will be shown to be soon-to-be exes, and there can't be proof of affairs that didn't happen. I hope Original OP's lawyer leans hard on the possibility for defamation. Original OP's career and future earnings could be impacted if her character is in question, depending on where she is a teacher. A cease and desist is perhaps a good idea, even if it doesn't do anything besides show she objects to these accusations at an early stage. Good luck, OOP. I hope all this toxic BS is behind you, and your kids and your dad soon. Damn. Actually, most sane Redditor. Besides, like, I think defending the party is the only weird part. If you're gonna do the party, maybe don't bring... I would say don't bring the ex's family. Just do your internal family first. And then, like, let the chips fall as they may. I understand the nah, fuck 'em. It just seems crazy to me. It's like, we're not looking for efficiency here. I think we're just looking for, like, a way to make sure that we are conveying this to the pertinent groups. And doing it in a situation where they're all together feels like just like a melting pot for something bad to happen. Yeah, I have to say, kudos to her church for doing the right thing, getting the information and saying, no, we won't be protecting a children's pastor who thinks it's fine to have an affair with a teenager. What a, man, Drake's in chat for doing the only thing you can do in this situation and the thing the Catholic Church didn't do. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to this church. This person almost assuredly groomed a minor and is a youth pastor at our church. Whatever shall we do here, huh? The bare minimum, I think. Oh yeah, I'll give you a Drake for that one. Bro, this is wild. Some people like her mother make me believe in the devil. Some people really do be lacking a soul. That's crazy, man. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your best of Reddit updates for the week. This woman was with her husband since high school. It turns out her mom seduced him. Her brothers are actually her half-children, and it happened because she wasn't very good at sex. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked this Reddit video and you want to see more videos, make sure you like and comment. And if you have found another crazy story on Reddit, whether it's from Off My Chest or from the Infidelity subreddit or from like hobby communities, there was one that someone shared about hobby community drama that could be really fun. Make sure you link it to me somewhere, whether it's in the comments or in the Discord, because I need to find them so that I can go through them. I think they are very fun and very interesting. See you guys next time, YouTube.